Right, that's the first time I've welded for a little bit. Last time I was having real trouble, and you probably saw that I was talking about wearing a different mask that was permanent dark mask just to get the job done. What I've done since then is repaired my normal welding mask, which I'll show you that in a second. But these welds went a lot more easily, a lot better. I could actually see what I was doing, and yeah, it made a huge difference. So I'll show you what I've done with my welding masks. Effectively, the batteries weren't working anymore. So inside, so this is what I've got. I think it's from Screwfix. It's got a solar panel on the front there. I don't know if you can see that, which in theory charges two little tiny batteries inside. Either side of the solar panel are the light sensors, and then obviously the LCD screen that darkens when the voltage changes because of the light sensors, etc. But long story short, inside here there are two little tiny batteries, and they are supposed to be 3 volts each. Not the two that you can see there, but they're actually inside this piece of plastic around the screen. Even after leaving this outside in the sun for a day, they were still only showing 1.5 volts across each cell. So what I've done is I've removed those two little tiny batteries, broken out a couple of little wires there, as you can see, and I fitted those larger 3 volt cells, effectively like watch batteries. I doubt it will keep them charged, but they're easy access to change out now. So yeah, you can see they're in there, and that actually keeps the mask running, and it makes a huge difference. Last time I was looking at the car, I was looking at these pieces of metal I've got, which look like they go on here on the car, and I wasn't sure what they're for, so I've done a little research. Turns out what they're for is if you're running wet suspension at the back, then there's a little bump stop on the top of the radius arm, and that bump stop contacts the floor here. So if you have that plate in there, the bump stop hits on there, and that stops it damaging the floor. So not strictly needed on dry suspension minis by the looks of things. I probably will fit them though, just for sort of slight originality, like I have with the slinger brackets over here. So yeah, some people say it's just a water trap. I mean, I'll make sure there's obviously a lot of protection around it, so hopefully it won't be a rust point. But yeah, as I say, that's what they're for, and given that this car will pretty much always be dry, I'd probably put them on. So that was that. I'll put it with the other one. And the next thing that I'm going to look at is, I have to turn the car over quickly. So similar job to what we've done at the back, which is dealing with the edge of the windscreen here. You can see it very rusted out along this particular section. There are a couple of other bits there, and then again right at the end there, which I may or may not deal with, but certainly this piece. And I'm going to cut that out and then add a strip in. It will just be the single thickness. I won't be doing the inside, because the inside on here, I mean, yes, it's got some glue on it, but this is all solid metal. So we won't be doing the inside edge of this one, just the outside edge, which will be a lot easier. So I'm going to get a cutting disc and decide how much I'm cutting out. As you can see, this terrible metal is coming away, but this is Not somewhere that I can even see the spot welds, and definitely not somewhere where I'll be drilling spot welds out, because we'll go straight through the one underneath. So unfortunately this is a hammer and chisel and flap disc and whatever to just try and get this piece off now. Annoyingly, the piece underneath is actually quite rusty, although hopefully it's only surface rust. You can see where I've gone on it a bit there. It's actually decent metal underneath. So get all this off, bring it back to the bare metal, cure rust it, then go from there. Alright, let's look what we've got. So it's not too bad. I've tried to clean off any rust that was here now. We're about to put the cure rust on it, but it will go black, so I thought I'd show you before I do that. There were a couple of spot welds down this end that must have been pressed on a lot longer, but they just unfortunately tore out when I was trying to release them. But we'll back that with copper and just fill those up before we put the piece over the top, so that'll be fine. Just thought I'd show you how it looks, and gonna put the cure rust on now. And all reacting nicely, so hopefully plenty of rust stopped in its tracks. It's time to put a couple of welds on here. We're trying to make our straight piece of metal be a slightly bent piece of metal. At the minute it's like that, we need it to follow the line of the car. So I'm going to tack it a little bit, and then we'll move along, push the metal up, tack it again. Hopefully we'll be able to form it with the heat into the right shape. Right, tacked in, just catching that edge on there. So now we've managed to make this follow the shape of the car. Just a case of doing all the welding all the way along and then tidying it up. That one there done. No, I'll have to wait a little for it to cool down. We'll do another one over here, and then we'll come back and do the one at the beginning again till we're done all the way along. That's got that bit there done. Obviously linish it back to this line, to this groove here. Hopefully it will be